Alright, if this is your first time here, welcome to Mind Cravings podcast. I'm your host, Lupita Lupercio, and I'm going to be recording today's episode in my backyard. A different scenery, a more inspiring scenery for me to talk about spirituality, vibrations, and today I'm actually going to talk a lot about divine selection, vibrations, manifestation, spirituality, pretty much lately what I've been learning. Okay, so lately I've been really into Florence Shinn. She's a philosopher and a spiritual teacher of around Neville Goddard's time. I really do think that she is a spiritual teacher that clicked for me. There's a lot of spiritual teachers, there's a lot of methods to approach the law of attraction, spirituality as a whole, and anything. But one thing that I do know that every single spiritual teacher that I have learned from is that vibration is where it's at. It's not none of that woohoo stuff, it's reality. When you vibrate in the same frequency as that of your desire, things will start unfolding. But that's where some people get it mixed up. This is where Florence Shinn comes in. When you start vibrating as of the desire that you want, then good things will start happening to you. I love that she always gives stories, just like Neville Goddard and other teachers. They give stories, they give examples, so you can relate or you could just see how it works, really. But I love it because it's not that you just have to feel a certain way and what you want is going to come to you instantly. It's more like, if I want to manifest more money, then I must first feel more wealthy. I must start acting as if I already am rich. But this is where people get it mixed up. It doesn't mean go out and, waste all the money that you already have. It just means to live with faith, to live without fear, to just be able to embody that of already having so much money that you spend fearlessly, because you know that money is going to come right back to you, for God is our infinite supply. Every dollar that you put out, you invest it and you baptize it with success, that it will come tenfold back to you in 1,000 ways. See, and I like it because Florence Shinn talks a lot about scripture and the Bible, how God is our infinite supply. And He really is. Whatever it is that you believe in, if it's the universe, higher source, God, where do we get everything from? Where do we get our creative ideas? Where was everything created? Where did this camera come from? Where does everything come from? What I'm wearing right now, it came from someone's thought. It was a vision that was brought to life, the same way that we can create in this life, because God puts desires into our brain, into our heart, and the right people that will execute it will do it. It's like, I don't know if you've actually encountered this, where maybe you have an idea, but then you don't act on it. So it's like the universe gets that idea back and they take it to someone else that is going to do it. That's kind of how it works. If you have a desire for something, that means that thing already desires you, because that is God desiring that thing through you. For we are the universe experiencing itself, which means that everything that we desire wants us back. All we have to do is obtain the vibration to be aligned with it, so we can either go to it or it comes to us. See, and that's the spontaneous mystery of the universe. We can never let the reasoning mind tell us how or when it's going to come to us. All we know is what we want and how we want it, and we could be very specific. Sometimes it is better to be more specific, because I could ask, I want more clients. I'm a photographer. I want more bookings, but maybe I will have more people booked, right? More people are going to book me. But what if I don't profit off of that? Then maybe I should switch my saying to, I am so grateful and I give thanks for all the clients that have booked with me and have paid me for my perfect service under grace and perfect ways. Now that is one affirmation that Florence Shinn says a lot, and I absolutely love it, because this is where I'm going to transition into divine timing and divine selection. Okay, so when it comes to divine selection and divine timing, what I mean by that is that we are all here with a destiny. Some people either figure it out and they follow it, or some people end up wasting their whole life wanting to figure out what their destiny is. Or maybe they know it, but they're too scared to act upon it. I want you to know that you are here right now for a reason, because God put you in this world for a reason, because you have something to fulfill. You have a desire of His that was placed in your heart for you to fulfill. And once you find out what your divine design is, you must follow upon it. For whatever is not meant for you will just bring misfortune, and whatever is meant for you will be so effortless. The path you take to your destiny is so effortless. And of course, life isn't perfect. We have to go through things. We have to go through misfortunes, through traumas and everything to build us up for who we are. But what I'm trying to say is that Florence Shinn has opened the door for me so much, because there was a time where I questioned, how do I know if this is for me? How do I know what's mine then? Because a friend once told me, whatever is meant for you, it will come to you. There is no way that you can miss it. The universe will place it right in front of you. Even if you try to miss it, it will keep bringing it back until you finally get it. And Florence Shinn basically kind of just made me realize that I get it now. I understand. When you want something, you're not sure if it's meant for you, always ask, may I get this under grace and perfect ways? Because you're blessing it, that if it is meant for you, it will come to you by the universe Himself, gonna give it to you in perfect ways, effortless, without you struggling, and it's meant for you. Or its equivalents. There's a story that she talks about a woman that was in love with a man, and she tried to manifest this man. I'm pretty sure a lot of us have been there. This could go for anything, a car, a house, a job, whatever. Okay, but we're just gonna use a person, a specific person. Now, you see, she did the whole manifestation thing, okay? But Florence Shinn told her, well, ask of his equivalents, okay? Because she actually ended up manifesting the man she wanted, but it wasn't this specific person. It was a whole different man. That man would repeat the affirmations that she would say in her head. Pretty sure a lot of people has also manifested this. But you see, the key thing is that she manifested the love that she wanted, but through her divinely selected man. Because yeah, she could have manifested that man, but it wasn't for her, so misfortune would have followed upon. So that really changed my perspective, because now when I want something and I'm so specific about it, like say, I want this person specifically like this person, or I want this specific car, and then like it has to be this color and it has to be this year, and it's like this one. Okay, there's like no other option. Like I don't want the white version of it or the black version of it or like the newer or older, like I want this one. But what if it's not mine? Then you ask God, universe, I want this car. I want it this way, this color, this brand, this year. But if it's not meant for me, then give me its equivalence. Give me what is rightfully divinely mine. That's why I am praising Florence Shinn so much on today's episode, because she is amazing. Honestly, the way that her book, The Game of Life and How to Play It, has shifted my perspective is insane. I love Neville Goddard's teachings. I love Joseph Murphy's teachings. I love to see more of the spiritual teachers from back then, for I think that they had more logical ways to explain spirituality. For now, mainstream kind of, over romanticizes it a little bit, all these new methods. Like I said, any method works as long as you believe it does. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to raise our vibration. We're trying to do what it takes so we live with the wish fulfilled, as Neville Goddard said. But at the same time, you have to really think about it. If you're not manifesting this thing already, this person, this job, whatever, then maybe it's not yours. That's why you have to ask for its equivalence. Did I get this, or its equivalence? Did I get this under grace and perfect ways? You are blessing it. You are protecting it, because you are making sure that if it is yours, it's going to be delivered to you under grace and perfect ways. It's going to be effortless. If it's not meant for you, then that it gets thrown away and you get its equivalence. You get what's better, what is meant for you, which will only bring you more blessings. I've already heard two spiritual teachers, Florence Shinn and Neuro Knowledge, say this verse from the Bible. Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all things will be added onto you. Florence Shinn, she takes a lot of verses from the Bible and dissects them in New Age. Okay, so I do remember that in one of her books, she dissected that saying and said that you must first seek God within you You must first know that there is a power within you that can grant you anything. And the kingdom of heaven is simply being in the conscious state of peace and joy and love, which are the highest vibrations. And once you do that, then everything else will be added onto you, because you are vibrating in the frequency of love, in the highest frequency. You are in the Christ conscious. So you have entered the kingdom of heaven, and everything will be added onto you. You are in perfect self-expression, which means that you found out who you are, who you're meant to be, what your destiny is, and you are in your perfect self-expression, so God will add on to you. You will begin to see new doors open, new things appear, which are meant for you, for your divine design. Now, to end this episode, because I'm freezing my ass off, I really do encourage a lot of people to get into Florence Shinn. She has changed my life. I started spirituality around summertime, and it's actually pretty insane because I've tried to go on like this spiritual awakening journey for years, but I always kind of named it like my self-discovery journey or my self-love journey. But the whole time is that I was actually trying to awaken the spirit in me. We are all human beings. We are all capable, and we are all creators, because we are all creations and manifestations of the love of God. We are God in a manifestation. Even Florence Shinn talks about this, that every single thing you see is God in manifestation. So why can we not have these things? Why can we not have these people? Okay? And seriously, I'm telling y'all, The Game of Life and How to Play by Florence Shinn, that will change you. It will change you if you're ready for it. I remember last summer I read the book The Magic of Believing, I think it was, by Claude Bristol. And right before we got into the book, or actually I think it was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, I do not remember, it was one of those two books. At the beginning it says that the secret, the truth, the law is literally all throughout the book, but it's up to you. Are you ready to receive it? Are you ready to catch on? And it's so interesting because this was before like I really got really deep into this, so I knew that they were talking about the law of attraction. Like, I just knew it. I was like, this has to be the law of attraction. But I just knew the law of attraction of, like, I want something and I'm gonna get it. Like, I didn't know the deepness of it. You know, like, it's about vibration. It's about being one with your desire, that it is obtainable and that it has to be divinely yours for it to materialize, right? And it's really interesting because that's how I see spirituality. That's how I see the book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. It's like, I could tell so many people to read it, but if you're not ready to interpret it for what it is, then you're not going to get it. It's an amazing book. And I think it showed up at the perfect time. It was during when I was doing a private, like, spiritual retreat where I just kind of, you know, went on a hiatus. Like, I wasn't on social media. I went on a physical diet, mental diet. It was kind of tough because I was basically starving myself of any toxic and distraction in my 3D for 7 days. And it honestly, I feel like it just shifted something in me. It woke me up a little bit more spiritually, and I want to do it again because now I feel like I'm kind of falling back into old patterns of like being distracted and all that stuff, not really putting like my spiritual knowledge to action. But it's really like that. Spirituality is a journey for everybody, and it's really different. And you know, it's like whenever you're ready, you're gonna get it. There's no right or wrong. There's no like they're chosen and I'm not. It's that, like, the truth is that God is within all of us, and we all come to a different point in life when we finally realize that, and when we finally get it. That, like, for example, those books that I read last year, like, if I read them right now, I'm pretty sure I would interpret it a whole different way. Like, I'm actually going to get it the same way with the Bible. Like, it's so crazy how Florence Shinn dissects some of the stories and just makes it in relation to, like, the power of the subconscious mind, which is the God within us, and, like, our resistance, which is, like, limiting beliefs and fears and everything. And I'm gonna drop a Florence Shinn quote before I end this episode. And it was actually in The Game of Life and How to Play It. It was the first chapter. It's what convinced me to buy the book, because I was actually listening to the audio version of it on YouTube. And it said, oh, you have little faith. So that's a verse from the Bible, right? And then she says that faith is knowing in something that you can't see, but you know that it's there. It's an existence. You know that it will materialize. But to have fear is inverted faith. To have fear is inverted faith, which means that when you have fear, you are not serving the God within. You are serving an external force that is the limiting beliefs, the resistance against your manifestations. And when you have faith, you walk in faith. You walk knowing that the God within is your infinite supply, and everything that you desire will materialize if it's divinely yours. That you are not afraid of the how or the when, that you just know that God's time is perfect. And when you walk in fear, you attract more things to be fearful of. Faith is to walk in the unknown. Fear is inverted faith. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this, and I want to do this more. I want to come out more. I've been wanting to do this like all year, and this is official. This is the second, or I could say first, official episode of my podcast, and I will be cutting this up into clips on TikTok. So if you made it this far and you actually listened through the whole thing, thank you. I appreciate you. If you came from TikTok, appreciate you. Till next time.